I started riding the Via on a regular basis in 1958 when I transferred from Burbank High School to Breckenridge High School. My name is Rodolfo, and I recently retired from the University of Texas at San Antonio. I now concentrate on writing. I write kind of like an artist. An artist will sketch something, not good enough. Sketch another thing, not good enough. But sometimes they store up ideas, and then you look at them, and then it goes into play into the final piece that you want to make. And I've kind of written like that most of my life. Back in 1958, I had no car. My parents had a car, but my father had to go to work. I couldn't depend on my parents to give me rides. Ever since that moment, I've always felt that there's a bit of independence on the bus, and I love it. In 1964, I took a bus downtown. There's this skinny little girl sitting on the bus, so I sat down next to her. Then I went ahead to tell her that I thought she was the most gorgeous woman I ever met. We've been talking to each other ever since. I ride the bus every day. There are times when friends, my wife including, will tell me, well, let me give you a ride. I said, I don't need a ride. It's much more efficient to take the bus. When you take the bus, you're free from parking garages, having to drive and put up with the nonsense on the streets, having to pay for a car, having to pay for gas, on and on and on. I do crosswords. I read. I love to read. I check my texting and my email while I'm on the bus. It's a social environment, so I interact with people. I know people just by bus. They're my bus friends. That's all they are. I generally go have a cup of coffee, and my favorite place is a local place, locally owned place where I go sip my coffee. I read. They have Wi-Fi there, so I do that. And then from there is when I either catch the trolley or I walk down to Commerce and catch 68 to get to my office. Let me say it the way my grandson would say it. I love the bus that bends. The Primo represents something else to us that's really neat. It's an adventure. We go to the zoo, or we go to the library downtown, or we go over to Woodlawn. And he loves Woodlawn Lake. I always have to buy a loaf of bread, get in there, feed the ducks, tease them, throw all the bread, and finally get rid of it. Remember, I'm retired. It doesn't mean that I don't stay busy, but I mark my time when I do what. And the bus allows me to do it. The next bus texting service is really simple. You dial 52020, then you type in the bus stop number, then they respond with the times of each bus that goes by that bus stop. The eFare 31-day pass, a great innovation. You don't need any change or anything. You just go in there and zip it, and it's done. I love interacting with my bicycle on the bus. I take the bicycle down to the bus stop, put it on the Primo, get downtown, take it off, and I'm there in my office in 10 seconds. Well, not quite, but you know, a minute. I love that interaction with the bus and the bike. I believe Via is the bloodline of San Antonio. You can use those veins and arteries, and you can move to different parts of the city.